Greetings, gamers. The Division is out. Well, no, stand corrected. The Division beta is out and has been for about 24 hours. To this point, I've pretty much done everything in single player, and it's only really Dark Zone left for me to do. So, guys, I'm giving you a full report on the beta for Tom Clancy's The Division. I'll let you know what to do, how to do it, when to do, etc., etc., etc. We're going to go through, we're going to explain the shit out of this game, and basically just maybe give some people a helping hand. Who knows? So guys, stay tuned for the review on the beta, and at the end of it, I'll let you know what I think of the game. Have a great day. Talk to you soon. So, first things first, what is The Division? The Division's an upcoming online-only, open-world, third-person, role-playing video game with survivor elements and published by Ubisoft. Is that an accurate statement? Yes, this game really is open-world. There are very few buildings that you can't walk through. It is completely seamless without very little loading screens. And it doesn't really matter if you're jumping from rooftop to rooftop, or jumping on top of buildings, or to jump on top of buildings, to jump on top of vans. It's completely open world, and I really am impressed with it in that aspect. Now, I know a lot of games in the past have gone through and claimed to be open world and been anything but this really, really does deliver. Now, what else is The Division? Okay, so basically the storyline of The Division itself is that you're a crack sleeper cell American trained government agent who basically comes in active when the world goes to shit. There is some contagion or virus that has gone out, that has been passed around. I believe it's been passed around by money. Some contagion on the money that's caused everybody to get sick. And your job is to basically save this world from anything that looks like anything from The Walking Dead. You very first in the game, your first thing you do is obviously go through, help out this JPL team. It's a sort of like a government military branch sort of thing. You help them out and you basically get a base of operations. Now, the base itself has three main upgrade elements. You can upgrade the medical wing, the tech wing, or the security wing. Now, during the beta, the tech wing and the security wing are not available. It's only the medical wing, and the most you can really upgrade it is about 20%. This will give you a couple of the abilities and that you'll get from the game, but obviously, let's face it, guys, it's the beta. We're not expecting it to go through and to give us all the gameplay. Once you unlock certain areas of the area, or for example of the medical wing, you will actually get extra abilities and items that you can do, or skills that you can do. Now, for example, once you have upgraded it to a certain point to 20%, if you go to the abilities, for example, you unlock the first aid, but you also unlock like pulse ready, for example. Now, these are all obviously abilities that you get, and once you unlock a certain thing, you can actually mod it or modify the ability to actually help you in the game. So, for example, with pulse ready, the extra mods that you get on it are base pulse, recon pack, scrambler, tactical sensor, and tactical sensor, which I can't get. And the threat detector, which I can't do because it's the beta. But to give you an idea, for example, tactical sensor, damage is increased when attacking any hostile targets identified by the pulse scan. Scrambler, the pulse protects the user, etc., etc., etc. Like I said, there's a whole stack. There's like 5 modifiers on that one thing alone, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 12 different levels, or 12 different abilities. So there's quite a range of upgrades and everything that you can do, and I presume I'll probably find I'll put more in it later as well. So for example, with the medical, obviously you got tactical sensor, you got first aid, You have support station, you have recovery link. Obviously those last two aren't available in the beta. You know, for tech, for example, you've got sticky bombs, you've got turrets, seeker mines, tactical link, and then obviously on the security you've got ballistic shell, smart cover, mobile cover, survivor link. Obviously the three on that aren't available in the beta either. So like I said, there's a lot that's not available at the moment. To be honest, you can really only unlock about 4 abilities, and some of those you can even modify a little bit, but not a lot. Once you go through and unlock areas in your medical wing, that obviously allows you to go through and to upgrade or get extra abilities. It also allows you to modify the abilities that you have to get extra things, like I've said before. So once you've gone through, you've got your base of operations, it's then very much like any open world game where you basically got all these side missions and side quests along with the main mission to go through and to basically try and bring people back to your base so that they can help you in the future. One of the missions, you go into like a stadium and you rescue a medical doctor. And then obviously later on you go through and you help someone find their sister, and it's a couple of side quests and stuff like that you do, but the whole basic plot line is basically you getting this building up and running so that you can combat this contagion and possibly save the world. Well, at least New York anyway. The map itself, guys, is huge. There's always different areas with different levels. You can even go in and jump into the sewer system. You can run through the sewers and come up through the different areas. It really is quite vast. There is obviously fast travel in it, which does allow you to jump from area to area pretty quickly. However, that said, there is still a lot of walking involved. I don't believe my agent is going to become obese anytime soon, just because of the amount of exercise this poor sod is getting walking around. Now, obviously, the gameplay, footage, gunfight scenes, everything is excellent. I really don't have any problems with it with that. I've had a couple of glitches where the beta has decided to shut down on me, but obviously it's a beta, so you got to expect that sort of stuff. The group management is good. You can join groups and leave groups and boot people out of groups and stuff like that. The only problem I have is that you can only really have about 4 members in your group, which obviously does make it a little bit hard when you've got, for example, 81 friends online at the moment and 20 of them are playing the beta. So that really does make it a little bit harder too. I really wish they had made the group level a little bit higher, but obviously I think they've done it to obviously save loading screens and stuff like that. Obviously, while you're going through the game itself, you can also find intel. There are scenes, there's sections where you'll walk up and you'll find like a phone recording, or you'll come across it with what they call an echo. Now these echoes are really cool, and it's a really interesting way of doing it. Basically, an echo is a past event where you can actually sit there and scan it and sort of listen to what people have said and sort of try and find out what happens. And once you hit those echoes, you can then also go through and investigate them to obviously help you, for example, if there's a mission involved or something along those lines. There's also other side quests where you can go through and there's radiation or like virus levels, and you got to go through and basically activate these 3 scanners within a certain point of time and then send the data back to your medical wing through the cloud. So there is a wide range of things to do in the game. Most of the time though, I just found myself running around trying to find all this intel, because the amount of it in the beta is just insane. Like for example, there's 6 survival guides. Now I've only found 1 of these at the moment, so I'd really like to find the other 5. Phone recordings, I found 5 out of 21. The incident reports, I found 2 out of 5. I managed to find all the drones, the 1 out of 1 for the drones. Missing Agent, I found 1 out of 1. And Echoes, I found 5 out of 9. So like I say, even in the beta alone, there is a lot of intel that you can find, which obviously helps explain the storyline and tell you what to do. So moving on to inventory, guns, and stuff like that. Weapons that you'll find in the normal single player are mostly white or green guns. Now there is obviously a wide range of guns. You got your classic M1A, you got your classic AK-47, your double barrel shotgun, etc, etc, etc. Even some of my mates have managed to find a sniper rifle. The guns that you will get in the dark zone, which I'll get to in a sec, are blue. So they're the blue guns that you use in the dark zone. They're more high powered and more dangerous for your opponents, but you can also use them in the normal zone as well. But do keep in mind that you obviously have to be a certain level. Now there are 2 level ratings on this game. One is for the normal zone and the other is for your dark zone rating. Now I'll explain the dark zone a little bit later on, so I'll get to that in a sec. Obviously too, you can go through, you can compare them, you can modify your guns as well. So for example, I've got the my primary weapon here is the M4. Now if I go in to modify it, you can see that I've added sights, I've added small grips, extended mags, compensator for the muzzle. You can even give the thing a paint job if you manage to find the skins. I haven't found any of those yet either. That's the primary. You get a secondary gun, which I've got as the military M416. That you can also modify as well. So it's the same sort of thing. Obviously sights, suppressors, small grips, extended mags, etc. And your third weapon is obviously your sidearm. Now there have been times where I ran out of ammo on my primary and secondary, and thank God the hand cannon never, or the pistol never seems to run out of ammo, because it really does come in quite handy. The best thing about it too is the pistol is actually quite good. It's not some sort of, hey, all other guns are depleted, we're going to give you this crappy gun, blah blah blah. And also you can go through, you can modify your pistol. You can put a muzzle or you can give it a paint job, and you can select different ones as well. So like I say, with for example, I've got the M9 and I've got the military M9. And you can go through and give them different modifications and stuff like that as well. Now with your gear, this is a little bit complicated. You can have the green gear or the blue gear as well. Now obviously blue is the stuff that you will get from your dark zone. Now putting on blue gear will actually give you a significant boost in health and skill power. Like for example, loss in skill power. If I put on my green armor, my health drops down to 1,320. I put on my blue armor that I get from the dark zone, and I go up to 2,160. Now obviously different armor has different abilities, different attributes, etc, etc. Obviously the blue armor that I've got gives you 5% exotic damage resilience, 25% armor, 16% more ammo capacity, but obviously to run or to use that I needed to be level 8. So obviously the blue armor is what you really want to wear. As soon as you want to go equipping yourself, you want to be putting that stuff on, and it's much like, for example, Destiny or World of Warcraft, where you get your raid armor. It's the good stuff. Now obviously with your armor, you've got what looks like body armor, you've got gas masks, you've got knee pads, you've got face mask, gloves, you got like a holster or an ammo pouch. You've also got something here that I'm not quite sure what it is. It looks like it's like a radiation sign or something along those lines. I don't know if that's not available in the beta or anything like that. But like I say, you've also got your modifiers for your guns. There's a wide range of things that you can do and change, and the game is fully customizable, etc, etc, etc. Now you can also buy extra equipment, guns and stuff from vendors when you're in your actual tower. If you head over, there's the mods vendor, there's the gear vendor, there's the weapon vendor. To buy stuff, you do need credits or money. Now obviously with your money, there is two types of money. If you go into your actual player screen, there is money that you get from the inventory from your normal funds with your normal credits. Now to get that, obviously selling stuff and completing missions will give you normal funds. But there's also the Dark Zone funds as well. Now these are separate than your normal, and the Dark Zone funds are what allow you to go through and buy weapons from the Dark Zone vendors as well. Now obviously to get money for that, you go through doing missions and whatnot in your Dark Zone, and also by selling equipment and stuff like that will also allow you to go through and get extra cash. So that's an easy way to sort of get some extra money and etc, etc. Now with your character, he is also fully customizable. There is a really good character creations at the start. However, one thing I have noticed with this is that the character characterization for the beta is extremely limited. I have seen a full version of the game through other YouTubers, and it does look really, really good. So looking forward to actually getting my hands on the full customization and making my character exactly how I like him. But also you can go through the game and change his appearance. For example, there's several different types of hats, different types of jackets, pants, you know, even things like simple cardigans and neck warmers and stuff like that. Now this will also go through and change your character's look, but that's all it does. It's completely cosmetic, and basically just allows you to go through and to change your character to suit how you think he would look. I don't see any any game world advantage to any of this. It's just purely cosmetic. Now, obviously, like I say, with the backpack too, you'll also have a backpack or an inventory pack. At the moment, I can only hold 37 items. It does get a bit cramped in there every time you pick up something that will take a spot out of that backpack. I'm presuming with different packs allow you to carry different or more items, but at the moment I'm limited to 37. But that said, I did go through and do a shitload of missions and then finally get myself up to 37, where the fact is I was just full and I had to go back to tower, or the base of operations. Sorry, I'm just playing Destiny. Go back to the base of operations and then go through and drop everything off and just sell some stuff, and then you can go out and do some more missions as well. Now with the Dark Zone, that does get a little bit different, and I will explain that to you guys as well. I'm still trying to get through the single player, and then I'll cover the Dark Zone side of things. But apart from all that, generally you just basically go through doing your single missions. Obviously this is the beta. I have finished most of the single player missions now. It did take me about 6 or 10 hours. But apart from that, obviously, like I say, it is the beta, so the whole thing is not here. The gameplay itself is really fluid. I didn't really have any frame rate drops or anything like that, but considering I believe it's locked at 30 frames a second, shouldn't have any problems at all. The PC, I believe, is unlocked at 30 frames a second. It's unlocked, so it's not going to stay there. It can go up to 60 or whatever your graphics card can handle. But obviously the bigger machines obviously will be able to handle the higher frame rate. But apart from that, guys, just moving on, it's just simply going through, doing your missions, getting your rewards, and you'll notice that your rewards, when they drop, you'll see like a light or a beam of light coming up. Now obviously white is normal gear, green is your good stuff, and the blue stuff is the really good stuff. That's the Dark Zone stuff. That's the stuff you want to be wearing. And at the moment, it wasn't this bad yesterday when we were playing the Dark Zone. It was actually quite civilized. But the Dark Zone has de-evolved into this massive free-for-all, everybody just blowing the crap out of everybody to steal their gear. Now, what happens at the Dark Zone is when you enter, you are neutral. You will have teams that have started shooting at other teams who will go what they call rogue. Now, once you go rogue, everybody will be trying to shoot you. And that's pretty much everybody against you. So when you're walking up to normal people in the Dark Zone, they are just neutral, they are white. Rogues will be red. Now, if you shoot another team, you will go rogue. And that's also basically a free-for-all against you. Now, what the idea is that if you shoot another team, you can steal their gear that they are carrying on them. Once you've stolen the gear, it is what we call contaminated. To decontaminate it, you want to go through and do an evacuation. What that happens is you call in basically a helicopter for an evac. It will take, I believe it's, I think, about 1.5 minutes, 1 minute and 30 seconds. And that will allow you to go through, hold that zone while you wait for the evac. The helicopter turns up, and then you basically go through and rescue or evacuate the gear, and it will then appear in your stash. If you die without doing an evacuation, any gear that you have lost goes on the ground, and it's basically a free-for-all for everybody to grab. So you want to evacuate your gear as much as you can. Now, obviously, when the evacuation helicopter turns up, you can use another neutral player's evacuation helicopter as well. But do keep in mind, I think you only have about 30 seconds to evacuate the gear before the helicopter flies off. So basically it becomes a point of you going through, holding these zones for about 1.5 minutes while you wait for your helicopter to jump in, evacuate the gear, or another helicopter to jump in to evacuate your gear. Everybody straps their gear to the helicopter, it gets decontaminated, and it appears in your stash. Apart from that, that's basically the Dark Zone. It's the PvP element of it. There are a couple of little side quests and things that you can do in the Dark Zone. But the most part of it is obviously just the PvP free-for-all that happens. Now, obviously the zones or the area for the Dark Zone is generally 8 to 9 or 8 to 8. Now, there's some landmarks, which I've still yet to figure out what exactly they do. There's a lot of friends playing that they show up on that. And there's sort of like these checkpoints and stuff like that where you can go and buy extra gear and stuff like that as well. Now, there is obviously matchmaking in the game for both PvP and your storyline aspects of it as well. So that definitely comes in handy. And people can easily jump in your groups if they're open, or if you don't want people to jump in, you can set the group to close. However, like I've said, groups are limited to 4 people in a group, which is a little bit of a pain in the butt. Now, my review on the game and what do I think? Obviously, the hype train around this game is huge. And I was really, really hyped for it before this. I was in the alpha, so I got a little bit of a head start playing it on that. And is the hype train real is the question I sort of get a little bit. To be honest, this game is excellent. It really, really is, and probably a game I will probably be buying March come this year. If not pre-ordering it soon rather than later. It is really, really good. The multiplayer aspect of it is insane. The single player campaign is really, really worthwhile, and I can imagine the single player campaign being somewhat decent in size as well. With all the side quests and everything like that, I don't think you're going to be finishing it in a weekend. The hype train around the game, obviously a hype train is only as good as what people make it out to be. Whether it's lived up to it or not, obviously depending on people's interpretation of how good they thought the game was going to be. Personally, yes, I thought this game was as good as what I'm currently playing, if not better, and I really am impressed with it. Would I suggest playing it? Definitely. Especially if you got a beta code. Guys, it's only out for like 5 days or whatever it may be. Jump into the beta. It's really, really worthwhile having a crack. The game itself is fairly bug-free. I have had a couple of times where I've tried to join a group and whatever, and it's kicked me and just dropped the game completely, and I've had to reload the game. Apart from that, I really haven't had many errors problems or anything like that. It's just a few teething problems, but that said, it is a beta, so you got to expect that. The game itself, guys, is really, really excellent. I'd probably go giving it an 8.5 out of 10. Now, the game itself is coming out on March the 8th. You can still get the Division... Sorry, trying to read this out. The Division SHD edition. I believe the collector's edition was sold out in the first day or two, so that's no longer available as far as I'm aware. But you still can get the normal edition as well as the SHD edition. The game itself, guys, is really, really worthwhile having a look at. Please, if you see me running around the map, please feel free to shoot me an invite if the party is closed at the time. Generally, I run around with an open party, so you should be able to just join in and play and do any missions you want. And if that's the case, if there is anything you need a hand with, feel free to ask. I don't mind helping out people and doing missions and obviously going through, especially if you want to do it on the harder difficulties. We can go through and we can get that done. But apart from that, guys, look, enjoy yourself on the Division. Have a great night. Hope you're enjoying Gamers Cafe. Remember, if this video is helpful, please click like. Remember to subscribe for content as we update it. Now, we did upload an intro video yesterday, which I'll be setting to public so everybody can watch. And that'll be obviously set for the intro video for the channel as well. Next I've got to work on is a banner. But apart from that, guys, look, enjoy Gamers Cafe. Enjoy the Division. Have a great night. Feel free to let me know in the comments section below, what do you think? Are you enjoying it or not? And let me know any feedback you have. Apart from that, guys, enjoy, have a great night. I'll see you in the Dark Zone.